Hey y'all. So I just finished recording my weekly energy update and I'm sitting here and I just can't stop thinking that there is a lot happening right now. Not just in the world, though yes, also in the world, but I'm more so referring to cosmically. And I've been having the same conversations over and over again with friends, with clients, with people in my community, with myself. And I realize a lot of people are feeling it. We just don't have a language for it yet. So I decided to sit my little tush back down and talk to you. Now, can I ask you something first? Have you ever walked into a room and immediately thought something felt off? Nobody said anything in particular, nothing obvious happened, but you could feel it. Or maybe you met someone for the first time and within seconds you just knew, yeah, I feel safe with that person. Or the opposite. You can't explain it, it's just an inner knowing. Well, that, beloveds, that's energy. And the thing about energy is most of us are already reading it every single day. We just haven't been taught to recognize it as a language. Now, energy speaks through your emotions, through your body, through your nervous system, through your intuition, through your relationships, through your dreams. And sometimes, if not often, it speaks through, if not always actually, it speaks through astrology. Now, I know, I'm no astrologer. I've never claimed to be. Do you even really need a certificate to be one? That's neither here nor there. I'm not going to pretend I have one, and that's totally fine. However, I am someone who has loved astrology since I was a wee little one. For me, trusted horoscopes turned into natal charts turned into transits, and transits turned into a lot of what you see on my channel. The deeper I go, the more I realize astrology is just another language, another way of understanding the energetic climate that we're all moving through. And it is one of many. Dreams are a language, tarot and oracle cards, language, the body, language, numerology, language, chakras, language. They aren't some separate mystical things floating in different corners of the universe. They're all tools, they're all lenses, and they all point to the same thing. You, your patterns, your energy, your seasons, your story. That's what I want to kind of explore with you more, not just today, but over the next little while, okay? Because I think that it's time we learned how to read ourselves with a little bit more fluency, with a little more compassion, and with a whole lot more ownership. So, let me tell you how I actually see astrology, because I think this might land for you as well. Now, imagine you're building your dream home. You are the architect. You get to decide what gets built. You choose the design. You choose the materials. You decide whether to renovate, expand, pause, or start completely over. The planets don't build the house. You do. The planets simply describe the conditions you're building in. Think of it like weather. If it's pouring rain, you can still pour your foundation, you just might prepare for it a little differently. If it's windy, you might secure things down a little more carefully before you move forward. The weather doesn't decide whether your house gets built. You do. The weather just gives you more information so you can work with the conditions instead of constantly fighting against them. That's how I see astrology, more as a navigation tool, not so much a prediction tool. And right now the weather is very interesting, okay? So when I look at what's happening in the sky right now, I don't just see a bunch of planets doing random things. I see a whole conversation. Actually, sticking with my analogy, I see a renovation crew. Hear me out. Hear me out. Now imagine you're renovating your home. You've got multiple contractors on site. Each one of them is handling something different, but they're all working towards the same goal. A stronger, more supportive, more you home. Now Pluto is your foundation. Pluto does not care what color you paint the walls. Pluto just has one question. Is this foundation actually strong enough to hold what you're trying to build? If the answer is no, Pluto says, all right then, we dig it. Okay? We dig it. Not because Pluto is mean. If you're trying to build a 3-story house on a cracked foundation, eventually it collapses. Pluto wants longevity. Pluto wants truth. Pluto is not here for the aesthetic if the structure can't hold it. So right now, Pluto is retrograde in Aquarius, which means collectively we're being asked to examine outdated systems, outdated power dynamics, outdated versions of who we thought we were, and how we relate to community, innovation, and the future. It's like the structural engineer showing up before construction continues. Now, before we go any further, let's check what this is actually built on. Now, Saturn is your building inspector, okay? Saturn walks in with this clipboard. Did you get the permits? Did you actually build this correctly? Is this sustainable? People tend to hate Saturn. Well, people have a hate-love relationship with Saturn. Hate because Saturn expects you to work and has standards about it. Love because if you do the work and you have standards about it, you get there. Not fast, but earnestly. Either way, Saturn is the reason the roof doesn't cave in. Saturn is about to go retrograde in Aries, which means we're about to be asked a few things. Where have we been rushing? Where have we been avoiding responsibility? Where is discipline actually an act of self-respect rather than self-punishment? Saturn isn't here punishing you. Saturn is making sure what you build lasts. Then we have Neptune. Neptune is your interior designer, wearing foggy glasses. Neptune says, what if we put a window right here? Saturn says, that's a wall. Neptune says, but imagine. Neptune retrograde is like finally cleaning those glasses. Oh, that wasn't actually a window. That was just what I wished was there, right? Neptune retrograde in Aries is dissolving illusions around identity, the stories we've been telling ourselves about who we are, the courage we thought we had or thought we didn't. What once felt certain may start to look very different, not necessarily to confuse you, but more so to bring you into a deeper truth. Now, Mercury is your project manager. Mercury handles communication, schedules, contracts, blueprint revisions, instructions, all the moving parts. Mercury retrograde is someone printed the wrong blueprint. Now everybody has to stop, go back, make corrections before anything can move forward. Now by the time you see this, Mercury has just completed its retrograde in Cancer, which means a lot of us are sitting with conversations, realizations, and emotional truths that surfaced while everything felt sideways. Sometimes clarity doesn't arrive while we're moving. Sometimes it arrives after we've paused long enough to actually listen. And then we have Chiron. Now, Chiron is the crack in the wall. You didn't put it there. Maybe it came with the house. Maybe someone else caused it. But it is there. And eventually, you have to decide whether you're going to repair it or not. Not because you're broken, fractured, whatever. More so because healing creates stability. Now, Chiron has moved into Taurus, which means the crack we're being asked to look at right now is connected to worthiness, security, the body, money, what we truly value, and whether we actually believe we deserve what we're building. And then there's something bigger that has happened underneath all of this. Something called Barbault's basket. Now, by the time this video is uploaded, we would have moved out of this historic transit, but that doesn't change the influence and or impact, at least the beginning of the transit, right? Now, if Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, and Chiron are individual contractors, Barbault's basket is the city announcing, we're redesigning this entire infrastructure. It's a rare outer planet configuration, multiple long-term planetary influences interacting simultaneously. And whether you're deep into astrology or just casually curious, it's difficult to ignore that we are living through a time of accelerated change, personally, collectively, and globally. This isn't chaos for chaos's sake. This is a blueprint asking us to become more honest, more intentional, more discerning, more willing to release what no longer aligns, more willing to trust ourselves instead of constantly searching outside of ourselves for certainty. So, if life has felt like it's asking more of you lately, if old patterns have been surfacing, if relationships are shifting, if you're questioning parts of your identity, if you're feeling called to let go of what no longer fits, maybe nothing has gone wrong. Maybe you're simply responding to the invitation this season is placing before you. What I've come to understand is the planets don't make your decisions. You do. But when you understand the season you're in, you move through it with more awareness, more compassion, a whole lot less resistance, right? And that's why I like to use astrology in my work. Not because it tells me who you are or who I am, but because it gives us another lens, another language through which to understand the energy we're already experiencing. The more languages we learn, the more fluent we become. Not in astrology, not in tarot, not in any one system, but in ourselves. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what every single one of those tools is really inviting us to do, to slow down, notice, listen, understand the language your own energy has been speaking all along. So, if this landed for you, if something in here made you stopped to think, I'd love for you to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming. I am working on a whole series actually breaking down astrology in a way that makes it easier to digest so you can better understand the language your favorite astrologers are speaking. Because the more you understand the language, the more empowered you become to form your own relationship with astrology, your own intuition, and ultimately yourself. So drop in the comments and let me know. What do you want me to break down next? What's been confusing? What's been showing up in your life that you can't quite explain? Let's figure it out together. Until next time, take care of that beautiful energy of yours, and I'll see you soon.